are leaving stuff outside. Ouch. People are leaving stuff outside that I can't get by myself. I need y'all to come help me get this stuff and turn it into a wonderland. Come help me pick this stuff up off the side of roads and shit people's throwing away. And help me do this thing. I know y'all out there got trucks and all kinds of SUVs and shit. I need help picking this stuff up and turning it into something that people will never want to make another thing, because I'm about to show them there is everything that's already on this earth that needs to be made out of plastic. We don't need to make plastic anymore. We already know what it's doing. So it's not necessary. So why have we continued to allow a group of people blatantly in our face say we have to pay them to control us? That's what you're saying. Hi, I'm good. How are you? Yeah? I live on Hampton. Hi. Good. Guess what I'm doing? I'm telling everybody that. Oh, you work for the city? You work for the city? Oh, okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell everybody that we have decided to put the nonprofits up for a vote for new officers, new boards of directors. Okay? So I'm campaigning personally to be the president and treasurer of all. That includes the church, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, every single one. And I'm going to get that trillions and trillions of dollars, and we're going to tell the federal government that we take back our consent to be governed, because we're invoking the Declaration of Independence, written 12 years before the Constitution was just the instructions on how to remain a free, independent people without tyranny. And since our Constitution is overrun, no longer being followed, and it wasn't a very good one in the first fucking place, that we are going to tell the government, you're fired. We don't have to bring guns to tell you you're fired. We're taking back the nonprofit money. And we're not giving y'all any more tax money at all. And none of you have any jobs to do any fucking more other than clean your jail cell with a toothbrush. And if you change your attitude, we'll let you graduate to a scouring pad, but you're going to clean that fucking cell. Then you're going to help us go out and clean all the rest of the cells. And you're going to assimilate into us as a good person. And we are going to go all over this world, and we're going to feed everybody. We're going to Gaza. We're giving reparations to the descendants of the slaves. We're helping Mexico. We are going to tell this United Snakes, whoever they are, all over the world, that we've had enough. We got the money, and now we got the business. We've got all the nonprofits, trillions and trillions, and it's up for a vote because they're breaking their bylaws. All I have to do is prove that they're not spending their money the way they're supposed to do. And if I get all the people in the United States to agree with me, we will have a transfer of wealth. SassyGrace. All right? Hey, you can Google me. Come here. SassyGrace Woodruff for president. We're taking over. We're taking back what's ours. All right. Thanks for listening. Hey, I talked to the Black Panthers. They're coming. I did. I went to West Oakland, and I talked to John L. Scott, Bobby Hutton's best friend. First 5 Black Panthers, Huey P. Newton, Eldridge Cleaver, and Bobby Seale. And I talked to Bobby Seale also. That's right, I did. I did. They're not laughing because they think it's they're laughing because can it be true? Right? Is that really true? What I'm telling people is something to be happy about. It's something for people to understand that I care. That I went down into the depths and made friends with the devil. I made friends with Lilith. I made friends with whatever that entity is that had the free will to stand up against God. I made friends with that. Because if God is going to be all mean and cruel and hateful and send people to rampage and murder like the Israelites did and have been doing, and are doing currently right now in Gaza. I mean, shit. What more proof do we need that the Israelites used a book to go through and murder and rape and pillage other people's lands? And they're doing it currently. And they're using the Holocaust, what happened to them in Germany, as justification for all the murder and everything they've been through, while they say they have been persecuted for thousands of years, and that is a lie. That's a blatant, outright lie. They were not slaves for 400 years in Egypt. They were not slaves in the captivity of Babylon. Are y'all forgetting that they lived in Egypt under Joseph, Abraham's second to the youngest, before Benjamin was born? Hi. Before Benjamin was born. That he became Pharaoh's right-hand man after Abraham's boys threw him in a pit because they were jealous because Abraham was showing more affection and told everybody that he loved Joseph more than them. Doesn't that sound like what God did in their book? Doesn't that sound like what God did in the Bible? No, we're not going to go that way, Annie. God played favorites in heaven. God created Lucifer, I guess, according to the book. And told all the other angels, because I'm confused as to who was actually created first. Was it all the angels and then Lucifer and then Jesus? I mean, the order of things isn't making sense, because if Lucifer is the most beautiful of all, Lucifer was created before Jesus, Yahshua, whatever you want to call the names. Names do matter. But Lucifer, Lilith, is that Lilith? Is Lucifer Lilith? And who is this entity anyway? And why did this entity, what kind of a rebellion did this entity do in heaven? I mean, come on, y'all. What's in heaven? What exactly is in heaven, and what kind of a rebellion? That Lucifer wanted to be God? Well, that doesn't make any sense. God over what? God doing what? Telling people what to do? It doesn't seem like that was what it was about. What it seems like what it was about to me was that God created Lucifer and told all the other angels, this is the most beautiful of all, the light bearer. Now, the other angels, they're just servants at this time, and they're probably not thinking of, their minds haven't been opened up yet to anything, because they're obviously just created, which means that unless God downloaded some kind of a language system inside their heads, they can't really communicate like that with God. So they're learning as they go, too. So God comes in and says, this is Lucifer, the most beautiful of all. And they probably didn't even understand what beautiful meant, because they were just created. They never had experience of what beautiful was. So does this mean that each angel has their own shape? They're not like all looking the same. They've got their own faces, individual faces, like everybody on earth. We all have our own individual faces, except for the doppelgangers, triplets, twins, identicals, that kind of shit right there. I'm sorry, wiping sweat off my nose. But anyway, so this means that the angels now are being taught by God to be envious. You're just supposed to accept that one, you made that one more beautiful than me. Why did you make that one more beautiful than me? Well, I'm inferior in some way. I mean, y'all didn't think that the angels were thinking about that shit? And then God creates Jesus and says, this is the one I love most of all. Now we have a problem. If the Word was with God in the beginning and the Word became flesh, then I'm confused. Doesn't it say that God created Jesus in heaven first? It does say we created them. So, it's a little bit confusing there. They're not really kind of straightforward with what the real truth is, and why would God do that? Why would a creator try to make life confusing for people? Unless God is, toxic. Because their book, their God is so toxic. First creates one, says this is most beautiful creation, the other love this one more. And then the rebellion happened when Lucifer said to God, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Why do you make me more beautiful but love that one more? And then the other angels are questioning too. Hey, yeah, well, right. What's going on here? Because they're trying to understand what the fuck's going on because they were just created. Ain't that right? Ain't that what it says? How do they know anything from anything? Everybody's just assuming that God made angels with a pre-programmed language, understanding of things that they had never previously experienced. That would be like me telling you what it was like when I lost my son. You wouldn't fucking understand unless it actually happened to you. Made it back home. Hang on, y'all. I'm gonna sit you right there. Oh my gosh. I got your key. I know, Annie. We got hot out there. But we made it back. All right, let's go in. You know what I'm saying? That was the rebellion. Questioning God. That's what they did. They questioned authority even though they did not understand what authority was. It's the hierarchy. In that scenario, there ain't nothing equal in God's kingdom. In the very beginning, even in heaven, life is not equal for even the angels. And then God got pissed off because they want to understand why God's playing favorites. Right? They want to understand why God's playing favorites. Now, here's the thing I don't understand. What kind of thing were they getting? Oh, yeah, I'll talk about Noah. I'll talk about black people, too. Too much meth tonight, Granny. Oh, Nimmy. Nimmy. I quit meth 4.5 years ago. What I'm talking about is something very important. And because of comments like yours, I don't read too many comments. I don't read down through the comments. Jesus was the snake in the Garden of Eden. Well, we don't know that, actually, some dude. We can't possibly, we weren't there. It's, again, that's all based upon a book that the Jews, you know where they got those stories from? When they were in Egypt. When Joseph sent for them, Abraham and the family, and there was only 70 of them. Abraham was born in present-day Iraq, and then apparently a voice, God somehow directed him to go to the land of Canaan. And he set up there, so he was an immigrant to the land of Canaan. He just happened to wander over there like everybody else is wandering around into different places, but it was already called the land of Canaan because Noah's descendants, Shem, Canaan, and them set up there. And that's where the Canaanite word comes from, Canaan. And then Abraham lives there, and he has his family of 70. He's already got an Egyptian slave for his wife. So at some point, Abraham, when did he get his for Sarah? Some of the stories are all kind of jumbled around. Abraham, Sarah. Anyway, Abraham and all his kids went to Egypt during a famine, and they lived there for probably a good 300 years, at least, before they turned on them and got enslaved, because if you think about it, they were only 70 people. How long does it take 70 people to reproduce before they become so numerous that someone wants to enslave you? But weren't they growing up with the Egyptians in that 300 years? Weren't they interacting? Weren't they also speaking Egyptian? Or did they just stay to themselves? Because I don't think so. That's where they read the hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphics contain a story of Gilgamesh. That story in the Bible has been handed down from Egypt, hieroglyphics. Why don't you go check it out, Gilgamesh. It's just been handed down through the oral tradition till they began writing it down on scrolls. Those people didn't even, there's no eyewitnesses. No one in the Bible is an eyewitness. It's all hearsay. I heard so-and-so said this. Yeah, they told me this, and y'all want to say it's God inspired. Well, according to that book, God is not a very good, how do I say, teacher. A loving parent. Told Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Why the fuck did he even put the tree there to begin with? To test them so that he can get mad and then torture them for the rest of their 1,000 years of the time they lived? I don't know about y'all, but that right there is not the creator that is driving me to do what I'm doing right now. In the beginning, God told Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, for in the day they do, they shall die. And they didn't die. That was a lie. That book makes God a liar. And if you believe God's a liar, then you keep on reading that book. But if you believe God is truth, then you need to stop reading that book. If the very first chapter, the very first few paragraphs, make God out to be a liar, that means nothing in that book can be trusted other than the good things that it says. And that's love, peace, patience, joy, long-suffering, goodness, kindness. But I'm going to tell you right now that love, joy, peace, patience, that all sounds really great, don't it? Up until they're torturing you. Up until they're dragging your children out of your arms. Up until they're putting you in lockdown and giving you no food or water or clothes to wear in a freezing cold room with blood, urine, feces, and vomit. You do not believe the shit I saw, the torture that they're doing. In Orange County, California, this is something that happened. I don't remember what I got arrested for that time. But they handcuff you to the bench. You have to straddle the bench. It's a big long one. You straddle the bench. And you got your handcuffs. You're handcuffed to the bench. Are you handcuffed to the bench? Or are you just handcuffed in the front? No, you ain't handcuffed in the front. You handcuffed. I can't remember. Anyway, this particular time, I was there going through in processing, and I'm sitting on that bench, and I'm looking in that cell. And inside that cell, there was foam covering all the walls and the ceiling, a thick padding of foam, the floor, the ceiling. You know what I'm talking about. It's hard foam, too. And there was a chair in the middle of the floor. And all the foam that was underneath the chair was gone, and it was all the way down to the concrete, all the way around it. It was a circle. Now, how did that get gone? What were they doing in that chair that wore out that foam rubber underneath of that chair that was just thick? And all over the place, there was, I don't know, pink vomit. Like, this is my vision. This is what I saw in my vision. They were giving them bologna, just plain bologna. They ate the bologna, and he'd bring them in there and put them in that chair and torture them, shock them, do evil things to them, and they'll throw up, and then they bring another one in. I'm going to tell you right now, that room was horrendous. It was right there on in processing. It was right there. How many people saw other people, women, being tortured inside that room and had to sit there and look at that shit? I'll bet there's witnesses, because I'm not the only one that saw that. And there was a woman in there. She wasn't, a guard. And there was someone else that was wearing a hazmat suit. And they were cleaning that room out. And she had one of those, what do you call it, a crowbar. And she was using that part at the bottom of the crowbar, and she was ramming it up underneath. She had gotten some of that foam rubber off of the floor. She began ripping it up. She was just, ripping that shit up, and that throw up was flying on her. She was some great big lumberjack looking woman. No gloves, nothing. I did not understand that. That was torture. There's torture, y'all. I seen them do torture. I seen them do worse than that. What they're doing down there in the prison, in the basements and in the areas where you can't see. We are going in there. Choose me to be the new president and treasurer of all nonprofits. We are running a campaign all over the United States. Everyone has a right to join in and vote for a president and a treasurer. And I am running that campaign. If anybody else thinks they got greater plans and ideas to make anything work, feel free to step up to the plate. Come with us. You want to run your own campaign? You want to be the president and treasurer? Try it. But I'm going to tell you right now, I've already talked to the Crips and the Bloods, and the 60s and the 20s and Watts and West Side. I've already talked to rap artists, celebrities. When I start naming people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny Bonaducci, Will Smith, I've met representatives in the House and everything. I met police officers. I met police chiefs. I met the fire department. I met the hospitals, EMS. Everybody knows me. I got my ass out there and I traveled and traveled because I was sent by a voice, a relentless, nonstop voice that told me what to do and where to go. I didn't just get here on my own. I was directed by the universe, directed by God, directed by something out there, and I don't care to have any kind of arguments about what you think is out there because nobody fucking knows. You can argue till you're blue in the face about what's out there. You can say, trust me all day long. But trust me is the famous last words. Right? Trust me. Shit, I don't trust nobody. I don't even trust my fucking self. Do I believe that this is going to happen, what I'm doing right now? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Then I'm so looking forward to it spreading all over the world. I'm so looking forward to us laying down our weapons and going and feeding everybody in Gaza. And the quicker that we get this out all over the United States, the quicker we can tell this government, you're fired. Vote me the new president and treasurer of all those trillions and trillions of dollars and see what I do. That's all you got to do. I'm not asking you to do anything other than to say, I'm with her. I support SassyGrace. I want SassyGrace to be in charge of all the money because so far, based upon all the stories, I helped everybody. Wait till y'all find out how many people I actually helped. Because in my travels, I gave away hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. A little bit at a time, over 20 years, over my lifetime. I helped so many people, and they all said that they would help me when this happens. They all said they thanked me. I cried with them. I stayed in their homes. I listened to their sad stories, and I told them my sad stories. And we are connected. Even if it has been 17, 18, 19 years. They will all remember me. Every single one is going to remember me. And they are going to start telling all their friends, I know her. I met her. I talked to her. They're all going to do that because when I began this, before I went out onto the street, the voice told me inside my head, the universe, whatever's talking to me, said, I don't want you to meet them on the stage. I want you to meet them one at a time. See, because when you meet people on a stage, everybody wants to be your friend. Everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody wants to tell you their story. Everybody wants to be around you. Like, pick somebody. Michael Jackson. Everybody wants to touch Michael Jackson. Oprah Winfrey. Everybody wants to be around Oprah Winfrey, even though she's hoarding money. And send all that trash to Africa instead of digging wells. Collectively together, everybody that I gave $1 to is about to give it back. Everybody I gave $20 to is about to give it back. And how do I want it back? By coming together and telling this government no more. By all the nonprofits doing what I say to do with the money. And what do I say to do? Pay off all your debt. Pay off all your friends' debt. Pay off all your family's debt. Pay off everybody you can think of's debt. That's what every single nonprofit can do right now. Pay off everybody's debt till all the money is gone. Redistributed. We're going to Gaza and we're feeding those babies. We are laying down these weapons. And we are going to talk to all the world leaders ourselves. Because God told me that only a fool would let somebody else represent them. Trump does not represent any of us. And we are telling the whole world that Sassy Grace trumped Donald Trump. And I am going to tell him, you are fired. He didn't have a problem saying that to anybody else's face. We ain't got no problem telling it to Donald Trump's face. All the evil he's done, he's going into a jail cell with all the others. And they are going to clean it with a toothbrush. Those people that put people down in there, they're going to be on the front lines. They're going to be in there opening up doors and seeing the dying. See the starving. See the filthy rooms that them people are in. They're going to pick them up and bring them out. They're going to take care of them. They're going to go back into those cells and they're going to clean them until they understand what they've done. And then they're going to continue doing good like everybody else. We will never murder anyone else again. We will never murder the animals. We will fix this place up. Who murdered first? Oh yeah, that would be God. God did the first murder. Murdered animals for their skins. And do you think that God tanned them? Or do you think that God just threw them on them as a bloody mess? Do you think that God just ripped their skin off? How do you think God... Because, you know, in the Bible, I'm about to bring that book out. Shit, I don't even know what I'm waiting for. I'm about to bring that book out. What did I do with it? Here it is. The Bible. The Bible. Here we go. People say, you got to read the King James. No, you got to read the original. Aramaic, Greek, Egyptian. All right. Here we go. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. What am I touching right there? Oh. It was formless and empty. The earth was formless. So that means what? It was flat. Heavens and the earth. The earth was formless. So what does that mean? Was it moving around like a blob? Formless? Flowing and shit? Darkness was over the surface of the deep. What was the deep? What's the deep? The surface of the deep? Wait a minute. The earth, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, but somehow there's a deep involved. Formless and empty. Now, formless means that there's what? Formless means, I don't know. No form at all. That doesn't make any sense. Darkness was over the surface of the deep. Nobody knows what that is because I thought that since no light has shined at all yet, darkness was over everything. So what is the deep? The earth and, I'm just crazy, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Where were the waters? God created heavens and earth. Maybe it gets explained a little bit later. God said, let there be light, and there was light. Wait a minute. He didn't even form it into a ball yet. Wait. God saw the light was good, and he separated them. God called the light day, dark night, evening, and morning. So, okay. Then God said, let there be a vault. What's a vault? Isn't that an empty space with just full of air? Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. So let there be an empty space, let there be a vault. Is some kind of air in between this water and this water. So God made a vault, separated the water under the vault from the water above the vault, and it was so. And God called the vault sky. Let there be a vault between the waters and the waters. Now, where were the waters? Let's go back to where the waters were. And God was hovering over the waters. Earth was formless and empty. Darkness was apparently over everything. But God was hovering over the waters, and we don't know anything about where the waters came into play because we don't know. And then somehow light, and then now somehow there's air called sky in between these two waters. Now, where's the earth at this point? The formless and empty earth. Okay, that was the second day. And God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. Let the waters, dry ground appear. So I'm confused. Here we go again. The earth was formless and empty, but somehow it had waters. It was formless and empty. It was formless and contained water. Wait, it was formless and water was all over the earth. The earth was just bubbling around inside of the water. So God gathered all the water under the sky together to make one place. That was all the water and the earth inside. And then gathered all that water together, and somehow the blob inside was able to begin to form into dry land, I guess is what they're saying. God called the dry ground land and gathered waters seas. Got land and seas, and God said that it was good. Now, and God said, who is writing this? Because last time I checked, this shit was written after the flood. I mean, after the flood, they're going to write something that went all the way back. I guess they didn't keep the, what you call them? They didn't keep the records from before the flood. All right. Then God said, let the land produce vegetation. The land. Seed-bearing plants and trees, fruit, seed, various kinds, and it happened. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed, trees bearing fruit and seeds. God saw it was good, and it was the third day. Now right here, y'all notice, nowhere does it say that God planted a garden. Right there, God planted all of the dry land. And God said, let there be lights in the vault to separate the day from the night. Where did the other light go? In the beginning, God created a light before God brought forth dry land. Where is that light situated? What happened to that light? Now stars are being put inside the vault, but the other light wasn't put inside the vault. And it was so. God made two great lights to govern the day and the night. and stars. And then God put those all in the vault to give light to the earth, to govern the day and night, separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. Okay, now I have a problem. Don't you guys have a problem with that? What happened to the first light? Now the earth was formless and empty, darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw it was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning. Now, excuse me, but what just happened there? Right there, God created the night, the light, and the darkness before planting. Before planting. But here it just goes right into a completely different story. Where'd that light? That's right there is the kind of shit y'all need to be listening to. The real truth. God said, "Let there be lights in a vault of the sky, day and night, two great lights, blah, blah, blah." Then God said, "Let the waters